There are moments in a person's life when they begin to realize that the version of themselves they have been living as is not the same self that exists beneath adaptation. Many people do not grow into identity, they grow into survival. And over time, survival begins to feel like personality. There is a difference between the self that is built freely and the self that is built in response to fear, instability, or emotional threat. From an early age, many people learn to construct a version of themselves that is designed not for expression, but for protection. The psyche adapts. It becomes disciplined, vigilant, accommodating, enduring. This adaptation often receives praise. It is called maturity, responsibility, resilience, or strength. But beneath that adaptation, something quieter continues to exist. A part of the self that never had the safety required to develop fully. Over time, the survival self becomes the public identity, while the authentic self remains suspended in silence. This is what psychologists and depth thinkers often describe as the split self, a life lived through strategies instead of essence. When survival becomes identity, certain patterns begin to appear. Exhaustion is normalized and renamed discipline. Silence is reframed as composure. Hypervigilance is mistaken for intuition. Emotional suppression is confused with emotional strength. The individual appears stable, yet internally there's tension. The body holds pressure. The voice remains guarded. Boundaries become performative rather than rooted in self-trust. In this state, life becomes something to manage rather than something to experience. Over time, the survival identity seeks reinforcement. It learns to perform competence over functioning, self-containment, and reliability. These traits are rewarded socially, which makes the split deeper. The person becomes valuable for what they can endure, not for who they are. But survival identity has limits. Eventually, it encounters collapse. Not necessarily dramatic collapse, but quiet forms of psychological fatigue, loss of desire, chronic tension, emotional disconnection, identity confusion, and a persistent sense that one's life has been built on top of a self that never fully consented to it. This is crisis, not failure. It is information. It signals the psyche is no longer willing to sustain an identity rooted in self-abandonment. What appears to fall apart is often the structure that can no longer support the authenticity. The process that follows is not reinvention, it is return. The nervous system begins to soften. The body no longer wishes to live in permanent readiness. The voice seeks expression without apology. The inner life asks to be recruited again. This return is neither dramatic nor immediate. It is gradual, subtle, and often uncomfortable. Because the self that once adapted to survive must now learn to exist without harm. Integration does not erase the survival self. It recognizes as an intelligent response to conditions that require resilience. The task is not to reject that version, but to relive it from being the only version allowed to exist. When the split self begins to close, life becomes quieter, not louder. Clarity replaces intensity. Boundaries shift from defense to honesty. Softness ceases to feel dangerous. The individual does not become someone new. They simply become themselves without needing survival to define them. If this reflection resonates, there is a quiet collection of shadow work tools designed for gentle self-inquiry. Not performance, not urgency, simply awareness. They live inside the Shadow series for anyone exploring the return to self.